All You Need for a Snowman by Alice Schertle. One small snowflake fluttering down. That's all you need for a snowman. Except 2 more snowflakes. 3 flakes, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1,000, 8 million more. Billions of snowflakes piled in a mound. Pat them and pack them and roll them around into one big ball. So they've got a huge ball for the start of their snowman. And that's all. One big, cold, well-rolled snowflake ball. That's all you need for a snowman. Except for a middle-sized ball and a small one. On top of that, you need a hat. A short, flat hat or a tall one. So now they're trying to attach the other 2 balls on top of that large ball. 3 hand-packed, triple-stacked balls of snow. Hat on top, where a hat should go. That's all you need for a snowman, except for... So now they've got the large ball, the small one, or the medium, the small, and they've got their hat on there. A couple of bottle caps, round and flat. Stick them under a snowman's hat. Surprise! Snowman's eyes. That's all you need for a snowman's face. But what's in the middle? An empty space. That's the place where the carrot goes. If a carrot is a snowman's nose. So now it's starting to look like his face. But what about clothes? Walnut buttons, 5 in a row. Belt in the middle, boots below. Big wool scarf, broom to hold. Mittens, in case his hands get cold. Earmuffs, fanny pack, something to read. That's absolutely all you need for a snowman. There he is. There's all the stuff they've added to him. He's got a hat, he's got muffs, he's got eyes and a nose, he's got his buttons, he's got a belt. Looks like they've given him some boots, scarf, mitts. He's well geared up. Uh-oh, look in the sky again. One small snowflake falling, then soft white snowflakes filling the sky, floating down everywhere, piling up high. So now they're making more. And that's all you need for a snowman's friend. So there's his friend, and his friend has just as much stuff. His friend has goggles, his friend has skis, ski poles, suspenders. So they've really dressed him up. The end. Alright, so my snowman is made out of recycled paper. So it's shredded from a paper shredder. So I just opened the paper shredder and got a handful of paper out. And I'm using that to form the 3 balls on his body. So we'll start with that. So the first thing that I'm going to do is draw 3 general shapes with my glue. And I'm going to fill them in with some glue. And then I'll show you my shapes. So we know that the bottom one was a large ball. It's pretty large. And then the next one was a medium. I need to fill that with some glue for the shredded paper. And then the next one at the top was a small. So there is the 3 size balls that I'm going to use for my shredded paper. So now I'm just going to reach in my bag of shredded paper that I got from my paper shredder. So you ask a parent, somebody that works in an office, if they have some shredded paper. And I'm just going to take some handfuls, and what I did was I sort of scrunched it up a little bit, because this is the long shreds, it's not the cross-cut shreds. So I'm scrunching it up a little bit, and then I'm going to push it down onto the area where I made all the sections. I'm going to do that again. So if you'll see, that's my first one, and I'm sort of just going to scoop all the shreds into the center where I have all that glue, and try to generally shape the ball and keep it looking like a snowball. So if there's any pieces that are coming off, just give it a shake, and then try to pat the other pieces down tight so that you have them all stuck to your paper. And then I'm going to do the next ball. So I'm going to scrunch up those and stick them on. Okay, and then you need to try to keep your snowman shape. I'm going to shake off the extras. And then I need to remember that my snowman has 3 balls, and I want to push those in and try to keep them where my glue is shaping my snowman. So that's the next one, and then there's the top. So you can use some of your extra pieces that you took off. Alright, so pat that down on your glue nice and tight, and shake it off, and you can go along and pull some pieces off that don't keep your shape of your snowman. So you can kind of see I've got the 3 sections there. So the next part of our snowman that we have is he's got his buttons. He's got eyes and his nose, so I'm going to work on that. So for the buttons, I'm using some little craft puff balls. You can certainly use buttons that you have at home. You can use craft foam, and you can make your own circles. So whatever you have around the house to make your buttons for your snowman. So we don't want you to have to buy all new craft supplies, you just use things that you have. And then I'm going to attach his eyes, so I've made googly eyes. If you don't have those, use your white paper and use black marker and make the pupils inside. So he's got some big eyes. And then snowman's going to have a mouth, so I'm just going to cut a little piece of craft foam into a crescent. I'm going to attach that down low. And then for his nose, you could use different things that you have around the house. I'm going to just use a piece of construction paper. So something orange out of your craft supplies, and I'm just going to make a long triangle, and I'm going to attach that. Alright, so far if you look, we have his buttons, his nose, his mouth, his eyes, and lastly I'm going to make his hat. So in the book they did a colorful hat, you can do that as well. I have some black craft foam or some red craft foam, so I'm going to just cut his hat out of the foam. You could use a lighter foam and make stripes on it with your markers. So basically it's just a square with a bit of an edge rectangle at the bottom for the brim of the hat. So I'm going to roughly cut out my square, and I'm going to trim that down. So there's the top of his hat, and then I'm just going to cut across the bottom for his brim. So So you don't have to make it complicated. You don't have to have any special patterns. You just want to make a hat. And then usually a snowman's hat never stays on straight because it's difficult. So I've got his crooked hat. So there is my shredded paper snowman.